In the movies, a heart attack is unmistakable. A man grabs his chest, gasps, and drops to the floor. But real-life symptoms rarely match that cinematic chest grab. That gap between expectation and reality leads people to dismiss their discomfort as indigestion or fatigue. By waiting for the movie version to happen, they lose the only window they have to save their heart muscle. I want to tell you about two people who woke up with the exact same symptoms. Howard waited hours, brushing it off as heartburn. He survived, but lost a massive piece of his heart and now manages severe heart failure. Lorraine acted immediately and was back in her garden days later, her heart completely intact. The difference in their outcomes was decided by 3 specific moves made in the first 10 minutes. To know exactly how to handle those critical minutes, take a second to hit subscribe. To understand why those 3 moves work, you need to see what is happening inside the chest. This is a 3D cross-section of a coronary artery, the pipe that feeds oxygen to your heart muscle. A heart attack begins right here, when a fatty deposit in the wall of the artery suddenly cracks open. Your blood does exactly what it is built to do at any wound. It forms a clot to seal the crack. But inside this narrow artery, the clot doesn't stop. It grows until it seals the pipe shut. The second that happens, the stretch of heart muscle fed by that artery is deprived of oxygen and begins to die. Heart muscle that dies in the first hour does not grow back. Everything comes down to one question. How much of your heart can you keep alive until a doctor reopens that artery? To answer that, you have to neutralize 3 specific biological threats before time runs out. The first threat is the sealed artery itself. The solution is to call 911 immediately and say the specific words, "I think I am having a heart attack." Medical treatment starts the moment paramedics reach you. They can run an ECG in your living room, confirm the heart attack, and radio ahead so this hospital's cardiac team is gowned up and waiting before you arrive. Arriving by ambulance is the proven way to hit the medical standard of reopening an artery within 90 minutes. Organizations like the American Heart Association, shown here, have found that patients who come in by ambulance receive treatment significantly faster than those who walk into the emergency room on their own. This is also why you must never drive yourself. The first hour of a heart attack carries the highest risk of a lethal heart rhythm. If your heart stops while you are behind the wheel, you lose consciousness in traffic, leaving you with no equipment and no trained help nearby. Tap the like button if you've ever considered driving yourself during a medical emergency. Calling 911 puts the entire medical system into motion while you are still in your living room. It is the most effective way to shorten the total time your heart muscle spends without oxygen. While you wait for help, you face the second threat, the clot. As this microscopic view shows, the clot is an active mass. It is constantly recruiting tiny blood cells called platelets, which link together into a tightening web that seals your artery tighter by the minute. The second move targets that process. If the dispatcher advises it, take a regular 325 milligram aspirin or 4 baby aspirins. Aspirin makes your platelets less sticky, slowing the clot's growth and potentially keeping the artery from closing off completely before you reach the hospital. You must chew the aspirin rather than swallowing it whole. Chewing breaks it down, so it enters your bloodstream in minutes. Leave a comment if you keep a bottle of aspirin in an easy-to-find spot at home. The evidence for this intervention is substantial. These journals represent the landmark 1988 ISIS-2 trial published in The Lancet, which showed that a single dose of aspirin taken during a heart attack cut the risk of dying by about 23%. Always follow the dispatcher's guidance, especially if you have a history of bleeding disorders, active stomach ulcers, or are already taking prescription blood thinners. Chewing an aspirin buys you time, but it is a stalling tactic, not a cure. It should only be done after you have called for help. The third threat is oxygen demand. When you move around or panic, your heart beats harder and faster, demanding oxygen the blocked artery cannot provide. This chart shows the danger. The flat line is your restricted oxygen supply. The spiking line is an elevated heart rate caused by exertion. Every bit of extra work you ask of your heart is a bill it cannot pay, and that unpaid bill leads directly to muscle death. To counter this, you must drop the heart's demand to 0. Sit down, lean back, and focus on slow, steady breathing. This pulls your heart rate back down below the oxygen threshold. If you are alone, unlock your front door before sitting down so paramedics can reach you. You may have seen claims that coughing rhythmically can keep you going during a heart attack. The American Heart Association has addressed this. Cough CPR does not work for someone having a solo heart attack. The physical effort involved actually wastes the limited oxygen your heart has left. Share this video with someone you love to make sure they don't fall for this myth. By staying still and calming your breathing, you are actively preserving the heart muscle that is still alive, while help is on the way. These 3 techniques are for a conscious person having a heart attack, a plumbing problem. Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem. The heart's rhythm goes haywire, and the person collapses, becomes unresponsive, and stops breathing.
If someone collapses, call 911 and immediately start hands-only CPR. Push hard and fast in the center of the chest and use an automated external defibrillator, or AED, if one is nearby. The machine will talk you through every step. Howard and Lorraine woke up to the same symptoms. Howard waited, and his retirement is now spent managing heart failure. Lorraine acted on these 3 steps, reached the hospital in time, and kept her heart intact.
You cannot undo decades of health habits overnight, but you can control the first 10 minutes of an emergency. Follow this plan to give yourself the best chance of a full recovery. Subscribe for more straight talk medical information, and click the next video to learn the warning signs of a stroke.